How to adjust your wheel alignment with a board. Inflate the 4 wheels at the same pressure. To adjust wheel alignment with this method, the tires must not be distorted and rims should have no run out. The method used in this video is not as precise as that used by the professionals' laser adjustment. However, this method allows large misalignment self-correction. For a more accurate setting, take the vehicle to a professional. Remove the hubcaps. The rear and front axle of this vehicle are of the same length. You will see later in the video how to proceed if the rear and front axle are of different length. Place 2 jack stands on the side of the vehicle. Place an aluminium straight edge or a straight shuttering board 4 meters long over the 2 jack stands. Lean the board over the rear wheel, then over the front wheel. On this vehicle, the toe setting should be between -1.5 mm toe out and +1.5 mm toe in. In order to obtain a 0 mm toe in, turn the steering wheel to the board to be supported on the leading and trailing edge of the front wheel. If you use a board rather than a straight edge, mark the board at the middle of the front wheel. Toe in equals 0 mm, case of the video. Place the 2 jack stands on the other side of the vehicle, then place the board over the 2 jack stands. Place the mark against the front wheel. Lean the board against the rear wheel, then against the front wheel. On the front wheel, there is a gap between the board and the front bulge of the tire. The front wheel is toed in. Phenomenal value 0 mm toe adjustment. The steering tire rod has to be set so that the board is leant against the front and the back of the front wheel. Slacken the lock nut on the track rod. Turn the track rod to achieve the desired toe. tighten the lock nut. Check the toe is correct. The toe is correct. If the toe is not correct, repeat the operation. The rear axle of this Renault Megane is shorter than its front axle. If the front and rear axles are not the same length, you won't be able to lean the board against the front and rear wheels. The board is leaning against the front wheel. If the rear axle is shorter, the board will not be parallel with the rear wheel. The board leaves a space of a few millimeters in front of the rim. Insert coins so that the board is aligned with the rear wheel. Measure the gap on the rear edge of the rim. Measure at the rear edge of the rim equals 15 millimeters. Measure the gap on the front edge of the rim. Measure at the front edge of the rim equals 15 millimeters. Both measurements are the same, so the board is parallel with the rear wheel. The board is leaning against the front wheel, so the two tires are aligned on one side. Place the two jack stands on the other side of the vehicle, and then place the board on the two jack stands. Lean the board against the rear wheel, and then against the front wheel. Insert coins so that the board is parallel with the rear wheel. The board leaves a space of a few millimeters to the front wheel. The front wheel is slightly too open. Continue to the steering rod adjustment, as shown in the first part of this video, to obtain the desired setup.